Hi guys, it's Henry from Zanko Jewelers. I'm here with Ismail, and today we're going to be doing a roundup of our top 5 watches that we've sold in the last month.
So we've had a pretty good month last month. I would say out of most, especially towards spring, summertime, it usually picks up quite a lot.
Yeah,
So we expect
it
it to be busy.
Yeah,
So I think there's some standout pieces this month that, we've taken a liking to.
for sure.
So,
I think we've seen with the Trump tariffs, there was a bit of uncertainty in the market, but we've seen people actually pour their money into alternative assets.
yeah.
And I think that's why we've seen a pretty, some big hitters come out.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm being honest, I thought it would be in the other way around. But, I guess in times of uncertainty, sometimes going for something that historically it's quite a good investment.
It is.
Whether it's this or, gold or silver, it's always good to look into. So, yeah, I think we'll start off with Patek.
Yeah.
And my favorite watch, probably from Patek in the Grand Complication range. That's more on the entry level side.
For sure.
I say entry level loosely. It's a 5270p green, which we've sold quite a few of.
Stunning watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean we must have done 4 in the last couple of weeks alone. Very, very popular watch. I think retail £188,000, but you can pick them up for 135.
Yeah, I think for the money, obviously, perpetual calendar function and having a chronograph is standout. When you compare it to other watches in that price range, I mean, what else can you really get? We're talking about other Grand Complications, which probably have less function.
Yeah.
And aesthetically, they're not as pleasing as I would say the 5270p.
Agreed. It's platinum as well, which is huge.
Yeah.
And as you know, with the platinum pieces in Grand Complications, always have the diamond as well at the 6 o'clock, which is a lovely feature, and all of that for 135,000.
Yeah.
They're always referred to, if you like, as the filler piece, the one that everybody wants to get, one doesn't want to get actually, that they get first in order to then get into the Nautilus and the Aquanaut collections. So I think they're really underlooked. Collectively, I think we agree, massively underrated. I think they're worth £200,000.
Yeah, so I mean, in terms of then other brands, when you're looking across, AP, FP Journe, the standout, I guess their main market is for that dress watch kind of type of timepieces. Then, yes, you can pick up something from FP Journe, which you would say is more limited, but then you're probably paying more of a premium for the stuff that people really want, which is like the Optimum or Resonance models.
For sure, and we know how hard it is to get into FP Journe.
Exactly. So this is a nice, accessible piece. It's around on the market. Yes, it is hard to source if you're looking brand new, but you can always dial it back a few years as well and maybe pick it up cheaper than 135k as well.
Absolutely. So, I think that mental block sometimes, we know when we have bought them off clients, that having to lose that, that £60,000 is a big hit, and we understand that. So yeah, you can pick up good deals on them for sure.
Okay. And
then the second piece that we've chosen to sort of highlight was the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Perpetual Calendar in blue ceramic. That's reference 26579CS. So we've sold 2 or 3 of them since we've sort of been in the watch game. Yeah. And you never get sick of it. It's an incredible piece.
I want to know your opinion though, because obviously we have the white ceramic.
We do.
What or which one do you prefer and why? Because I feel like I'll say something different to you, but I want to know.
I prefer the white ceramic.
Okay.
I think the contrast between the subdials and the main blue of the dial is nicer. I think that is the main thing that draws me to the white ceramic.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, the blue is rarer, more popular, costs over 100 grand more than the white. I think the white is a nice option, but the blue is still an incredible piece.
Yeah.
You rarely see that.
I think, I'm split. White ceramic for me is a watch where probably more wearable.
Yeah.
Even though they're both quite loud, I think the white, you can kind of just balance it out with more things. It's more of a summer piece for sure, but then you could probably wear it all year round if you're just that kind of person. Blue, because of the type of blue, and obviously they have the new blue Nuit, which is a lot darker. Exactly. The blue on this ceramic, I think, is a lot louder, but I also prefer it for that reason. I think maybe it's just a personality thing.
Yeah, I actually disagree.
Yeah.
I think the blue Perpetual calendar, you can wear more often than the white. I think the white, I mean, it's pops.
Yeah. Well, you let us know in the comments then.
More than the blue.
Yeah, you let us know in the comments. Which one would you rather wear and why? But yeah, I mean, look, extremely rare piece, extremely hard for them to make. So the fact that they were able to produce something as intricate and as detailed as those ceramic watches, then, you know, I think it's a great
Definitely.
pickup.
I mean, my fact of the month is that they have to heat up the ceramic powder to 1,400 degrees in order for it to become a solid state. I've been using that with pretty much every client that's come in and seen the white ceramic, but it's the same with the blue, and it's just incredibly impressive. A feat of ingenuity for AP to have been able to have done that. And
exactly.
I think it's worth every penny, the blue.
Yeah, I think this is what AP, and I say it in every single review that we do for all the AP watches, is that this is exactly what they should be focusing on and breaking the mold with, because no other brands are doing it. You'll never see Patek kind of release a ceramic piece the way that AP have. It just doesn't fit their brand. You know, Vacheron, I'm not sure they do have a ceramic piece.
No.
But again, these brands just couldn't do what AP does. And, you know, that's the reason why I think they should just stand out, keep doing that, because that's exactly what people want from them.
100%.
Yeah. So now going on to Rolex, because we've covered Patek and AP.
Yeah.
One of the watches that I've done quite well with this month, and which I think is a great pickup, is a Rolex OP 124300 green. That's the 41mm Oyster Perpetual. I think for a daily piece, there's not any other Rolex that is as good in price point.
Yeah.
A bit of fun. It's different to a Datejust. It's different to a Submariner.
Yeah.
And it's definitely underlooked. Is, you know, I can't really say that because we've sold, I think, 12 at least.
Every day I come in, this one's got another client that's buying one.
But, you know, so maybe it's a bit biased, that's why I like it. But I think, you know, for the amount of money you're putting in for something relatively safe, it holds its value quite well. You know, and you can pretty much pair it with anything. You can wear it throughout the year.
Really versatile.
I'm choosing that for a Rolex piece. I love it.
That's fair enough. Yeah, I mean, we've had so many come through the door over the last month. I think it's just as nice every time you see one, and the clients are just as happy when they come and collect. There's a steady stream of them that come onto the market. Exactly. You can get them a really good price point in the sort of the mid sevens, and it's a hell of a lot of watch, you know, for the money.
Yeah. Only thing is, you obviously got other options now. So you got the OP41 with the pistachio dial, which we're yet to have seen one come through the shop, but we'll be sure to let you guys know when it does.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, because I think that's the only one that will trump it for me. But then I think that's going to reflect in the secondary market price as well.
For sure.
You won't be able to pick up that pistachio green for the same price as the normal green.
No.
I don't see that happening. I think the pistachio, to my knowledge, I haven't seen any at the moment, but it's going to be selling more than double of retail at the moment.
Yeah, I won't see it below 10 for a good 12 months.
Exactly.
So that's got to be reflected in you know, whether you go for the darker green or you go for the new pistachio. I think personally, aesthetically, the pistachio is going to be the one.
Okay.
But then would I pay GMT money for an OP41?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good argument, but then again, you got like the Tiffany. Which is, you know, still around £16,000.
We sold a lot of celebration dials.
Exactly, celebrations, which have come down slightly from the hype of when they discontinued.
It's funny because I think quite a few people in the trade had heard a few rumours about it being discontinued, so they stockpiled them, and then when it was discontinued, we saw the price drop off within 3, 4, 5 days because so many people had them held in reserve, then all tried to sell them at the same time. And there just wasn't really the market there for them. Yeah. So that they've settled really, really, you know, interesting pieces.
Yeah, it's true.
But we've got to give a mention to the OPs this month.
Yeah, for sure. And then I think the next one was again another Patek, right?
Yeah, so another Patek. This one we've highlighted because it's a ladies' piece, a bit different to the usual men's that we like to deal in. This was the Patek Philippe Aquanaut, the 5268/200R. Really, really lovely watch. It's the rose gold model with a diamond bezel and a white strap.
Yeah, I mean, they obviously have the new reference.
They do.
Well, they've replaced it with the taupe or khaki brown. Yeah. I think, you know, in terms of likability for that one compared to the reference that we sold this month. The white trumps it a hell of a lot.
No comparison.
It's interesting though, because when we were offering it to our clients, a few people said the white is just too wet. When would I wear it?
Yeah.
Right, because it does kind of taper more towards a summer piece.
It does.
Maybe, but then year round, I think you can pull it off. It really just depends on the person.
It's funny for me because I see that piece as it's not necessarily meant to be understated. It's a rose gold Aquanaut. It's got a diamond bezel. So having a taupe sort of brown strap on it, is it going to make it any? I mean, of course, it's going to make it less obvious, noticeable, less obvious to the eye. But if you're going to buy a watch like that, you want the white strap. You enjoy it. It's a summer piece. Fair play. And I think it's nice. We've sold quite a few taupes, but the white was really nice to have in. It's a discontinued piece. You do sort of rarely see them. They're really big in Asia, so not many come over to the UK.
Yeah,
but it sold it within 24 hours.
Yeah, I think again, especially because it's discontinued, it's probably better place to park your money anyway compared to the new reference. Obviously, that's reflected in the price, but again, for 10, 15 grand more for the white one, I would say it's a better pickup for sure.
It is.
For the same money though, you're then also looking at some other ladies' Nautilus pieces,
Correct.
which I would say is more value for money. The main difference being quartz and automatic watches, right? So if you pick up a Nautilus, you're getting an automatic watch, whereas the quartz movement, is it worth paying that much for a quartz movement? I'm not sure.
The updated 7118 reference is obviously being automatic now compared to the 7010, so I agree. Exactly. It's probably a better option. But then, do you want a sporty one in an Aquanaut with the strap, or do you want a Nautilus?
Yeah, completely different watches.
Yeah, but it's down to personal preference.
Yeah,
but it was nice to see one.
Exactly. And then last but not least, the big hitter of the last month, which was the 6301P. Incredible piece. We sold 2 now, one being last year and one this year, and a huge achievement for us. It's always nice to see a minute repeater come through the door.
It is. It's incredible, especially one like this. We've had quite a few 5316s, /50Ps, which are probably more contemporary. Yeah. Whereas the 6301P is really
definitely more of a classic wear.
100%. Almost a throwback to the heritage of Patek. It's an incredible watch.
I mean, in terms of size, it comes in at, I believe, 44 millimeters, which, you would say is definitely larger in terms of the Grand Complication collection, especially when, you compare it to 5316 or like the 5373 or the 5303. All the watches which we've kind of had here. So then when you look at the size difference, that's the only thing for me. It would be a gripe, but
it's an acquired taste.
Exactly.
For sure. It's one of those that not everybody loves, not everybody knows, and quite frankly, not many people will have access to.
Which is what I was going to say, is 6301 is probably, out of the lot, the most understated, aesthetically looking. But in terms of function, it kind of knocks the others out.
It's different.
In terms of, especially, when you are buying a watch that is a minute repeater, the fact that you get Petite and Grand Sonnier is,
it's a party trick. We were saying, even when the client came in to buy it, we were saying it's such a good party trick to have at a meeting or a dinner. You can play them both and keep going off. And
it's a subtle flex.
It's a subtle flex.
Yeah, no one will know until kind of thing. And especially when you activate that minute repeater, you'll definitely know. So I think 6301 for me, incredible watch. I can't wait to.
I would say it's as far as I'd go size wise with the Patek Philippe Grand Complications. But there was obviously the 6300 line of Pateks, which are the pinnacle of collectors. But if I'm not mistaken, they're 48 millimeters.
48,
Yeah, but I think the 6301P is around about where I would stop in terms of size with Grand Complication Pateks, because there's the 6300 line of Pateks as well, which are 47.7, 48 millimeters. And they're just huge. Not many people are going to be able to pull that watch off. I know mostly they are for investments. They'll sit in a safe. Very, very hard to come by. We're talking less than 10, less than 5 made in some lines. But I don't think I could wear it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the main question then is at 1.8 million, 6301p, what sits around that? Obviously, price fluctuates because there's just few and far between. But for a watch like that, I think there's not really any other comparison on the market unless you go completely left field to a different brand for a completely different feel. And then you're looking at like a Richard Mille, which you can't compare the two.
The same client that wants 6201
is not buying.
Doesn't want a Sapphire RM.
Yeah, exactly.
Even we're just dealing with an RM47 at the moment, the Samurai, and if you choose the type of clientele that are going to buy the RM47 Samurai, compared to 6301,
one will be in a tuxedo and the other one will be in Supreme.
Yeah, absolutely, LV shorts. So it's one of those, but it's always an absolute pleasure having one come in, a minute repeater, and thank you again to the client for purchasing that. So that was our top 5 highlights of the last month's sales. We're going to basically turn this into a monthly series. So please like, comment, and subscribe here. Leave a comment on your favorite piece, whether you think the blue or the white ceramic Perpetual calendar AP is your preference. And we'll see you as ever in the next video.